All right, let's take a look at the, it's going to be the Monday morning devotional, and in your small groups, we're going to look at the story of the rich young ruler out of Luke chapter 18, starting in verse 18. And really what we're going to do is, kind of building on the concept of honesty, we're going to go next into the concept of idolatry. And so this will be a tough one, I think, for the kids to kind of make sure and understand, especially the younger ones. But it's really just the idea of we have to put God first. And so anything that we put first is really what we worship. And so if we put God first, it allows us to worship the Lord. If we put other things first, we worship it. And even though we acknowledge Jesus, or maybe want to serve Jesus like this rich young ruler did, he came to Jesus and said, Lord, what must I do? I'm doing very well, and I've been blessed. And society looks at me and says, I'm blessed. What must I do? And Jesus said, keep the commands. And he said, I've done that. And so, here's somebody that's grown up in the church likely and done all the right things and is doing all the right things according to society and his friends and the church structure. But Jesus comes back and says, then sell everything you have. And it was a real hard thing for this rich young ruler to digest, because he had a lot and it was given to him, and he thought that was a blessing that he earned from God. It truly was about what he worshiped, and he wasn't honest with himself or with the Lord about, hey, when it comes to this stuff, I give this to Jesus. And so really what we have to think about is, what do we worship? We're prone to worship our things. We're prone to worship relationships that are not with God. We're prone to worship our status amongst people. We're even prone to worship like our religion, which could be, I've grown up in a church and that makes me better than people who haven't, or I've grown up outside of the church and that makes me better. And it's like, well, neither one is actually the case. What is the case is we put Christ first because he first loved us, and that is the most important thing we do. Anything else is truly idolatry, and is truly something that we need to steer clear of. And so I think it's an opportunity for us to reinforce the concept of honesty. I think it reinforces some concepts about whether you've grown up in a church, it doesn't matter. Whether you've grown up outside of the church, it doesn't matter. It's about putting Christ first with what he's given us. And so we'll talk through some of that in the small groups on Monday morning. We'll continue with Quest 2013.